A hand draws back and the whole body coils behind it. The arm uncoils, and a shaft of spruce as long as a man is tall leaves the fingers and climbs into the cold air, tip forward dead level. For a heartbeat it hangs there, obeying a shape someone carved into it on purpose, a balance that turns raw wood into a weapon that flies true. Then it drops and it buries itself in the flank of a horse 3 lengths of a man away. But understand what just happened, because it is stranger than the kill. To throw this spear, someone first had to imagine it, not the throw, but the whole thing. The animal that had not yet arrived, the place it would come to drink. The weapon that did not yet exist, dreamed and shaped days before any of it was real. 300,000 years ago, on a lakeshore in what is now Germany, someone held the future inside their head and carved a piece of wood to meet it, and they were not us. Bora works close to the flames because his eyes are no longer what they were, and this work does not forgive a blind hand. In his lap lies a length of spruce as tall as he is, slow-grown wood cut from a tree that fought for every ring. He runs his thumb along it the way a healer reads a wound, feeling for the places that would fail him, the hidden knot, the twist in the grain, the fault that wants to split at the worst moment. Spruce and pine are what he trusts, the wood that grows slow and straight in the cold, dense enough to hold an edge and light enough to fly. A tree that grew fast and easy would betray a man. A tree that suffered gives him a spear that lasts. The band around him has gone quiet, and they watch his hands the way people watch a healer, because in a way that is exactly what he is. His spears are why they eat. His spears are why they will survive the horses and the winter that comes after. He debarks the shaft, then works it thinner toward the base and heavier toward the point, and smooths every surface until the wind will slide across it without catching. There's a reason for the shape, though no one here has a word for the reason, and there's a reason for the smoothness too. A rough spear drags in the air and drops short, and a spear that drops short is a winter that ends badly. The weight must sit forward. That is the whole secret, a secret modern engineering would one day rediscover and measure and name. A modern Olympic javelin is balanced exactly this way, its center of gravity set ahead of the middle, so the weapon flies point first and does not tumble. Bora knows nothing of Olympics or centers of gravity, he knows only the feel of it. It was passed to him by the man who taught him, who learned it from someone older still, the difference between a spear that kills clean and one that wobbles and spins and shames the hand that threw it. But tonight Bora's hands are not steady, and everyone at the fire can see it, and no one says a word, because the last time the band hunted the horses, a spear did wobble. A young man broke from his hidden place a heartbeat too early, the herd turned, and someone did not come home. Bora does not yet know whether it was his wood that failed or the man who threw it, and that not knowing is the weight he carves against tonight, shaping tomorrow out of a tree. Before dawn they walk down to the lake, and Bora watches the young ones learn to read the ground. This is the part no other animal alive can do. The horses do not choose where they will die. The band chooses it for them out here, days ahead of the killing. The lake edge is a trap the land itself built, and the genius of these people is that they understood the trap and learned to spring it. On one side lies deep marsh that a heavy horse will not cross for fear of mirroring. On the other side is cold open water. Between them runs a strip of firm ground barely wider than a running herd, and that narrow strip is exactly where the animals must come to drink. Bora points, and the others take their places in his mind before they take them on the ground. The throwers spread low along the firm strip. 2 of the strongest slip wide and far to appear behind the herd when the moment comes. The whole plan is a shape drawn in the air, and every single person holds their piece of it, trusting all the others to hold theirs. This is what the bone bed remembers. At this real place, Schöningen, the waterlogged ground has held more than 10,000 bones, and almost every one of them is horse. More than 50 animals brought down along the same shoreline again and again across the years. It was not one lucky day. It was a method, a place these people returned to, generation after generation, because they knew with certainty that it worked. Sit with that number because it rewrites everything you were taught about cavemen. 50 horses is not scavenging, and it is not desperate luck. It is an industry, a repeated, planned, cooperative slaughter carried out by minds that could remember a place, predict an animal, and coordinate a dozen bodies toward a single end. These are wild horses, heavy and dangerous, not the tame animals of a farm. To take them at all is hard, and to take them 50 times over is a tradition, a body of knowledge handed down the generations like the balance of a spear. Bora settles into the reeds with 3 spears laid beside his knee, and he arranges them so his best balanced weapon is nearest his hand. He tries not to think about the man who did not come home. Then there is nothing left to do but hold still and wait and trust the plan he helped to draw. The waiting is the hardest weapon of all, and it is the one that failed them last time. The cold works up into Bora's knees and settles there. He keeps his breath shallow so the fog of it will not rise above the reeds and give him away. Somewhere down the shore, hidden in the same grass, the others are doing exactly the same, each of them a stone, each of them a held breath. This is discipline of a kind we like to imagine only civilization taught us. It was here 300,000 years ago in the reeds in the cold. Then Bora feels it before he hears it, a pressure coming up through the ground into his shins, faint and then not faint. The horses. A band of thick-necked, heavy-bodied horses moves down toward the water, unhurried, sure of a place they have drunk from all their lives. They are big animals, wary by nature, with good ears and better noses, and they have survived this long precisely because they trust nothing. But they trust this shore because this shore has always been safe, and that trust is the door the band has spent days prying open. They do not know the shore has changed. They do not know the reeds are full of minds that pictured this exact moment days ago and built their whole plan around it. Bora's entire body wants to move, and he does not move because this is precisely where it went wrong before. One flinch, one person a heartbeat too soon. These horses are strong enough to kill a grown man with a single kick, and they will scatter at the first wrong sound, and everything the band has invested will vanish in a spray of mud. He can see the lead mare's eye now, wet and dark, sweeping the shoreline for the danger her body senses, but her eyes cannot find. His hand closes on the forward-weighted spear, and his hands are steady now. The fear did not leave him, it simply went quiet, folded down small beneath the plan. The whole band has become one held breath, waiting for the herd to walk fully onto the narrow ground, waiting for the instant when there is nowhere left to run. The mare lowers her head. And then far down the shore, the 2 who went wide rise up out of the reeds behind the herd, arms spread, and the horses' heads snap up, and there is no going back now. For one breath, nothing happens at all, the horses frozen middle-arm, the hunters frozen in the grass, the world holding one instant of total, ringing silence. It is the silence that only ever lives in the half-second before violence. Every person in the reeds knows it, and waits inside it for the one thing they have all agreed upon. Then Bora rises with the rest, and spears leave the reeds from 3 sides at once. This is the thing no lone hunter on earth could ever do, a dozen weapons in the air together, each thrown by someone who trusted every other person to throw at the same instant. The horses explode. Now there is only chaos, mud and spray, and the screaming of animals, hooves tearing the shallows to froth. Some spears miss and skate flat across the water, some strike home and hang, quivering in dark hide. The band is not trying to kill them all, and never was, that was never the plan. They need the herd to funnel, to trip over itself against the marsh, to surrender the 1 or 2 animals caught with nowhere to go. Bora throws his best spear, and he watches it fly the way you watch a child cross open ground. It does not wobble, it does not spin. The forward weight holds the nose down and drives it clean into a young horse floundering in the shallows. Another hunter's throwing stick, a shorter weapon, hurled to spin end over end, catches a second animal across the legs. That humble stick can leave the hand at nearly 30 meters a second, fast enough to break a bird from the sky or a bone from under a horse. The band does not carry one weapon, it carries a whole system, long thrusting lances for close work, spears balanced for the throw, and the spinning stick for smaller game and for turning a panicked animal into the trap. Each tool has its moment, and they know all the moments. The surviving herd tears past and away, gone in seconds, hoofbeats fading into the grass until the shore is quiet except for men breathing hard. One clean kill lies in the shallows. It is enough meat if they are careful with it to carry the whole band through the worst of the coming winter. Bora counts the standing figures along the shore, and this time every one of them came back. They butcher the horse where it fell, and they work fast before anything else on the steppe catches the smell of blood. Stone flakes open the hide. The band takes everything a body can use: meat, marrow, sinew for binding weapons, hide for warmth. Nothing is wasted because nothing can be. This is the true meaning of the whole elaborate plan, and it is not the thrill of the throw. It is this: a winter is coming that would simply starve them without today's kill. The steppe goes hard and white and stingy for months, and a band that failed to fill its stores does not live to see the spring. Everything Bora carves, everything the band plans and waits and risks, points at that one merciless fact. So when they carry the meat back up from the shore, there is no wild celebration around the fire that night. There is only the deeper thing that lives beneath celebration, the solid knowledge that they made it through by thinking, by a plan drawn in the mind days before, held by everyone, and not broken this time. Grief and relief sit at the same fire. The empty place is still empty, and no kill can fill it, but the living have been fed, and for people this close to the edge, that is its own kind of grace. Bora looks down at his own scarred hands, open in the firelight, and lets himself believe the wood did its part. The spear flew true. Whatever went wrong the last time, it was not the balance of the weapon, or if it was, he has felt the fault now and learned it, and it will not happen again. Tomorrow he will begin another, and the day after that another still, because a band like this always needs more, and the making never truly ends. And in the warm circle of the fire, it is easy to forget how astonishing all of this really is. These people carve tomorrow into wood. They agree on a shape in the empty air, and each hold their fragment of it until the moment comes to make it real. They outplan and outtrust and outcooperate every other creature on this whole cold continent, the great cats, the wolves, the bears, all of them faster and stronger by nature, and none of them able to do the one thing this band does tonight. They are not the cleverest thing that will ever walk this earth, but right now in this valley, nothing else even comes close. Here is the part that should stop you cold, the fact the whole story has been walking toward. The people who made these spears were not Homo sapiens, they were not us. They were an older kind of human, a different branch of the family, gone now, with no living descendants who wear their exact face. And yet look honestly at what they could do. They read a landscape days ahead of the killing. They imagined an animal that had not yet come and built a plan to meet it. They carved weapons balanced to the very same physics an Olympic athlete throws by today, 300,000 years before any human measured a center of gravity. The spear does not lie. It was shaped for flight by a mind that could hold a plan across days and coordinate a killing across a dozen bodies. We should be honest about what we do not know, because honesty is what separates history from myth. The age of these spears is genuinely argued over 300,000 years by one careful reading of the ground, closer to 200,000 by another. And if the younger date is right, then these may be the work of early Neanderthal hands rather than Homo heidelbergensis at all. The exact face behind the throw is uncertain, but the uncertainty is only about the face. What the hands could do is not in doubt. That is the honest shape of prehistory. The ground gives us the spear with perfect clarity and the maker only in shadow, and a good story is one that tells you which is which instead of pretending to know it all. We like to imagine that the Ice Age belonged to us, that the great hunters, the planners, the ones who outthought the herd, were people just like the ones watching this now. But the best hunters of that long cold were very often not our kind at all. They planned death's days in advance. They trusted one another with their lives, staking everything on the discipline of a dozen hidden bodies in the reeds. They made the future out of a piece of wood, and they were extraordinary, clever, cooperative, capable of things we flatter ourselves to think we invented. They just weren't us. And somewhere under a German lake bed, waterlogged and dark and perfectly preserved, 8 of their spears waited 300,000 years to prove it. To lie in a museum case and quietly insist that long before there was anyone like you, there was already someone who could picture a death that had not happened yet and carve the wood to make it come true.